Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Hey, I'm doing a part 2 for this video. Unfortunately, didn't record for whatever reason. I had some technical difficulties, so let's do a part 2. This is a review impressions of a knife loaned in to me by one of my subscribers, and I really appreciate you guys out there allowing me to check some of these knives out that I might not otherwise get a chance to, because they're knives that I might not technically buy for add my collection for any particular reason, but they looked interesting and I would love to try them out just because, you know, some of you guys might have them and are willing to share them. And so thank you so much to my subscribers for loaning this Petrified Fish Victor to me. Really cool knife. It's not a smaller one, definitely a larger knife. This is a Petrified Fish, who's a manufacturer. This is called Victor, and it's definitely not a smaller knife for sure. So I like that. And I think there's a lot to be said about this particular knife. We've got a nice clip point, buoy, whatever you want to call it, modified, I don't know. But it's K110 blade steel on this, which is like D2, which is pretty good steel. I like that. Got great action. It's definitely a flipper. It has a fuller on the reverse side for your right-handed, so you can reverse flick it. If you're a lefty, which the clip does reverse flip, and notice it goes on the inside of the liner, so you take it out and you go inside, release these two screws. It's nice and smooth here, so that's kind of cool that it's inside. But if you're a lefty, this is more of a thumb flick, right? And then a flipper, so really nice. I like the micarta, very nice texture on there. Everything's kind of rounded, nothing's sharp or edgy. It's a little contoured around it. So you get a good grip on this handle. Very comfortable. Nothing sharp is digging in, which is a great design as far as the handle. I do like all of that. The micarta is cool design. This is a steel clip. It is very deep pocket carry clip, as you can see that. Totally hidden. Steel liners. The liner lock, and that locks up, I would say a good probably 10%, 15%. It's not super deep, so you got a lot of room for movement after time using this knife, but it is in there solid, no blade rock, no rocking around. And then when you close the knife, you can see the detent going right in there. Let's go, listen. There you go, nice click. No detent lash, nothing loose in there. So that's really nice. Again, nice flat grind, comes to a pretty sharp edge. It's not a super thin slicer, pretty robust blade, I would say up there. It's got a little swedge up there, so that's nice for like if you're trying to cut and navigate a knife through something thick. Definitely got a little pokey tip there, great for cutting fertilizer, mulch, cat food, dog food, cases of water, whatever. So there's nice being able to open those things. It's always very comfortable. Or boxes, like your Amazon boxes, you can open that. Letters, really nice for all of that. So there you go, which is about 98, 99% of us what we do with our stuff, right? But you could definitely use this in the yard for hard use, I think. It really feels pretty solid. It's got that nice green micarta look, so you could definitely take it with you out there working in the yard. Nice back spacer, which is the micarta as well, and it's got a little texture, so if you do a reverse kind of a grip like that, or like that, you definitely, if you're doing a push cut left-handed or pull cut or whatever, you got a little texture over here. That's kind of cool. I do like that. There is some jimping on top of the blade spine where you can choke up like that. I wouldn't do the trigger kind of choke up here, because you could still slide into that, you know, finger choil, or I guess sharpening choil. It seems to be a little cautious. I would, you know, maybe you could choke up like that and do a push cut like that. Plenty of room. I've got medium, large hands. They're large width-wise, medium length-wise, so I've got plenty of room. I think extra large, double extra large hands could grab this before they'd ever fall off, so really nice. I like that. Really cool, right? This is a nice ramp. I mean, some people aren't going to like this because it comes up and does the duckbill kind of thing. You know, they want a little more kind of a smoother ramp. I mean, it works, right? It is steel, so just realize if you bend it, you know, you have to bend it back. It's not like titanium that's as flexible, which is a lot of times why people like titanium clips, because they are more flexible, right? All right, so that's some of the stuff. I know it's Petrified Fish. I don't believe it's going to be an in-house design. I didn't see anybody listed who was a designer. If you guys know otherwise, would you let me know in the comments down below? I do think it's a pretty cool design. I mean, I like it. It's definitely not a smaller knife, pretty robust blade, if you will, right? You can definitely see a lot of benefits to something like that if you like larger knives, for sure. As far as access to the liner lock, it's really nice cut out. It's like chamfered on the liner lock bar right there. So easy to get to. It's going to be easy to disengage that lock, and it's comfortable. You're not digging your finger in there and hurting your finger. Very comfortable to work with, so you can definitely fidget with this all day long and not feel like after a while your finger is going to be hurting or bruised because you can't get to it. You're having to dig in really deep. That's a big deal to me. I like stuff like that. I like fidgeting with knives and being comfortable being able to do that and be able to use that. If that doesn't work, that's kind of a bummer to me, all right? So that's it. You got the flipper, you got the fuller, but it works well. It does work well, so I like that. All right, so let's do a little bit of measurements on this guy. So we're at 4.94 ounces, just 0.05 ounces short of 5 full ounces. That's a pretty big knife. Definitely not a small knife, that's for sure. Let's do a little measurements on the length of the blade, going from the very tip to the very end. All right, let's look at this right here. So we're definitely about 8¼ inches overall for the length of the knife. So it's definitely not a small knife. We look at from the tip to the base of the blade, we're probably at 3 5/8 of an inch, just a little over 3½ inches. Cutting length, if we go from here to there, we're about 3½ inches of cutting length, so that's pretty good. If you're looking for handle, going from the very tip all the way back, we've got about 4¼ inches, about 4 inches, I would say. Probably 4¼ somewhere around there. If you choke up, and you choose to choke up, which I don't recommend, you get about 4¼ sorry, over here at 4 inches. That's what I meant to say. You got right about 4 inches. Then you have 4¼ inches right here. So, you know, there's that. All right, let's do a little bit about the blade stock thickness. Let's take a look at that. Make sure I can stand the knife up. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's see how thick that is. So we're at 153 hundredths of an inch, about right between 1/10 and 2/10 of an inch, 153 hundredths of an inch. That's pretty robust, a pretty thick blade. I like that. It's got some good weight to it. Knife category. This knife runs around $46. So this is absolutely a budget knife. Definitely in the budget field, well under $100. The K110 steel, which is equivalent to D2, but I think that's Bowler's a little better version of it. Kind of nice. You know, it's really close. I mean, some people will tell you it's exactly the same. Some people will tell you there's a few differences. Whatever. It's, you know, it's not bad steel. It's just, it's not a D2 ingot made somewhere else. It's made by Bowler, so that means it's not, you know, Japanese steel or something that's D2 and you hope it's right. This is Bowler, so that's nice. As far as, you know, budget, you know, if you get it at White Mountain Knives and you use my RNK10 code, you can get 10% off. So it could be even less than the $46. So maybe check that out. I know they have some of these over there. So if you're watching this video and it's still available and it's over there, you can use RNK10 for 10% off. Maybe worth checking out. Purpose. I think this is a great EDC knife for everyday use. You know, working in the yard, working outside, doing different things. I would never bang wood or cut trees with it because it's a Linerlock. I would never do that. That can always disengage and make the blade move. You want to get a fixed blade, but if you're in a tight spot, you're cutting and doing a lot of yard work, cutting things, it's definitely going to be nice and solid. I think it's a good knife for as far as that's concerned. I would feel comfortable with that. I don't know. I mean, it's bigger, it's larger. I don't know if I'd carry it into church or to work. That might be a little too big as far as the lengthwise, right? Some people aren't allowed to bring anything, you know, it's got to be 2 inches or less or 3 inches or less into their workplace. So there's that. But I do like the micarta handles. It will get wet and might be a little slippery, so you have to keep that in mind. A lot of times that's where a nice clip and things and jimping around here helps you to get better traction. So ergos and feel. Let's talk a little bit about that. I think the handle design is really nice. It's contoured, it's rounded. This is micarta, the green micarta. It's, you know, nothing sharp around the edges. You've got jimping up here, got a little jimping down here. So you're going to be nice, strong presentation. The clip is nice and rounded and smooth, so it's going to be comfortable. You're going to be able to grip really well. I'm not too comfortable with that choking up here because of that. You know, the trigger kind of choke up, you know, into that sharpening choil. I would choke up maybe more like that, but you definitely have a lot of room. So, but the handle is comfortable. There's no hot spots. This grip, if I grip it, it's not digging into my hand or anything. So that's really nice. Deployment design. I love the flipper. The flipper works great. I love the fuller with the right hand. It works great. If you're lefty and you love thumb studs, or thumb deployment, it works really great into the fuller with the thumb stud, and it works a thumb stud, thumb fuller, right? The fuller with the thumb, and then the flipper works really great. So all that is nice. Now, if you want left reverse flick, yeah, you can sort of do it with a little bit of pressure there, but you gotta get used to, you know, reverse flicking a knife that doesn't really have any spot there. And if you're comfortable with that, you could do it theoretically, but you know, there's that. As far as closing design, I really like that Linerlock, and I like the axis. Very comfortable. I love that. Chamfering and, you know, flattening out that lock bar and giving access with a little cutaway is really great. That's the best way because you're not going to make it uncomfortable and difficult to get to it and close it. So I really, really like that. As far as fidget factor, I would say for a righty, if you love flipping and you love middle finger reverse flicking, if you're lefty, if you love flipping, the flipper, and if you love thumb flicking, you know, this is definitely going to be probably an 8 out of 10, right? If you are a right-handed person, you want to thumb deploy it, you're going to be a little disappointed. If you're left-handed, you want to reverse flick it, you're going to be a little disappointed. So I'm going to give it, because with that, I would give it a 7 out of 10. So between that, it's a 7.5 out of 10. That's the best fidgety goodness or fidgety factor you can get. So 7.5 out of 10. Now, as far as how they execute it, this one does it really well for the price point. For $46, I'm going to give this 100% for what it does. Out of the 7.5, the fidgety goodness factor, you know, accomplishment out of a 100% scale, I'm going to give them 100%. They executed it perfectly for what they're offering at the price point. I think it's done really, really well. I like it. I like it a lot, and I think that really adds to the value and the enjoyment of this knife. So definitely. As far as handle design, overall thoughts, and is it recommended? So overall thoughts, I like this knife. I really do. I like a lot of things about this knife. I like the K110 steel. I like even the clip point and Bowie, whatever modified flat, the flat grind. I like the black stone wash kind of finish on the blade. I like the green micarta. I like the steel, the deep pocket carry clip that's reversible. I like the great access to the liner lock. I love the action with the cage ball bearings. Really, really nice. It's really smooth and consistent. I like the jimping up here. It really gives you a good presentation. So yeah, there's a lot of things I like about it. I really, really feel like this would be a great, I would put this in my car as a secondary knife in a backpack if I was out somewhere. You know, definitely would have this as a backup knife for sure. I'd work on the yard with it. Like I have a pony stout that I love working in the yard with, and this one right here would definitely be like that. So yeah, it's something I would consider. It's larger. It's not a small knife. It's over the 8 inches. So if you like 8 inches or a little bit bigger, but maybe less than 9 inches, this is going to fit really, really well. Is it recommended? Yes, absolutely. I'm going to recommend this as a great budget knife. I think for the price point, what you're getting, the quality, it's really fantastic. I really think this is something, if the aesthetics speak to you, if you like what you see, this is something you should consider. It's a knife that I think is worth your time. It's worth your money. I know if this was a knife that I was looking for and all the aesthetic points spoke to me, if they had different designs, maybe some of those things, I would buy one of these and put it in my car or have it as a backup knife for sure. I definitely will consider this as one of the knives that I would, ask if somebody wanted a knife for a birthday present or Christmas or something like that. I would ask them, do you like this design? Because I would be very confident in buying this knife as a gift for them, because I'd feel like this would be a good buy and it'd be a great knife for them to own, right? So there's that. So it's definitely recommended. It's going to be a recommended budget knife for sure. All right. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think about this? Do you have any of you guys own this knife? Any experience? Any thoughts on this? I'd love to hear from you. Is there any questions you have about this knife, this review? Please comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. I do try to reply to them all. Any questions for future reviews? Please let me know. I do try to reply to those as well. So, I'm learning, trying to make these reviews better and figuring out what really works and what doesn't. So I appreciate those types of dialogue and comments from you guys. So thank you. Hey, if you thought this content was fun, interesting, worthwhile, would you please consider liking the video down below? Yeah, hit that like button. And if you've already hit the like button, would you consider subscribing to the channel? Subscribing and liking my videos really helps out the channel a lot, allows me to grow, be able to do more things, offer more content, more things for all you guys. And I would really appreciate that. And if you're already subscribing and you haven't done so, maybe consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content when it's released. That way you can, get a chance to look at it. And if you've done all of that, maybe check me out over on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knife. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. I would appreciate that. Hey, thanks so much for checking me out today. I hope you guys have a great day and a great week. Bye.